Okay, Jobina, let's start with some vocabulary because
Alrighty.
this is a show about polyandry. Had you heard of polyandry before this show?
Never in my life.
Polyandry is a form of polygamy. So polygamy is just having more than one husband or wife.
Or wife, okay.
Polyandry is a woman who has more than one husband. And polygyny is a man with more than one wife. Those are the vocabulary words. And I feel like these words, we need to know them. I don't think we need to know them 30 years ago, but we need to know them now.
Yeah, because there are a lot of different types of families. But I just conflated polygamy with all forms of having multiple spouses. But I didn't realize there was polygyny and polyandry and
Well, polygamy is the umbrella term, so you're still good.
Yeah.
You're still
Okay.
and then there's polyamory, which is just multiple loves. All the terminology. Okay, I'm gonna quiz you at the end of the show. Okay.
I wrote it all down. I'm ready.
All right, let's start the show. Hey everyone, this is Luther Palmer.
And I'm Jobina Scott.
And welcome to One Episode Stand, a podcast where each episode we watch and discuss the series premiere of a new television show with no spoilers.
And then, like the Rolling Stones we are, we move on to the next show. Everybody's out here having one-night stands, but we are having one episode stands.
Everyone's having
apparently.
one night stands. Everyone's doing it. If you're listening and you're not doing it, go out and do it. Be safe, please be safe. We love them and leave them. We hit it and quit it. We tap it and scrap it. We do it for you, the listeners, to help you figure out what new shows to watch and what to skip. Jobina, we have a lot to get to. Let's jump right into it. What are we watching? What did we watch?
So we watched Seeking Brother Husband.
Okay.
It is on TLC, so just good old-fashioned television.
Good old-fashioned.
Yeah, good old-fashioned TV.
Just cable. It's on cable.
Just if you have cable, you can watch it. Now, this is 44 minutes of high interest reality TV programming.
Now, what did you know about this show before we picked it for our episode?
So I know it is the other side of the coin to Seeking Sister Wives, which I
Right.
cannot say I was a viewer of, but I certainly have seen episodes of Seeking Sister Wife or Wives, but not much about it other than that.
I mean, yeah, this show follows this long history. I think there was Big Love was the first kind of fundamental Mormon thing with the Sister Wives. And I think there was Sister Wives. And then I think there was Seeking Sister Wives.
Okay.
And then now there is Seeking Brother Husbands. And it's a new twist. Yeah, it does. It is a new twist on the topic. So let's talk about what the show is about.
Yeah, so this show follows, in this particular episode, 3 different throuples. I am not going to make the mistake of saying couples because they are not couples.
Right. Do
they
not
are
offend them.
Throuples. I won't
Do
offend.
not offend them by calling them couples. They are throuples.
Right. They are throuples.
And they're
these
legitimate,
throuples have 1 wife and 2 husbands.
Right. And it kind of follows them because it seems like what's happening in each situation is the woman wants to add another partner, and they kind of like talk through that. So they kind of give a little bit of a background of the how they came together, and then they sort of talk through what they're going to look like to add another couple.
Well, and I will say that one of the throuples lives in H-Town. Break it down.
Oh, really?
I saw my skyline.
Which
and
couple?
I was like,
Throuple?
Okay, Kenya and Tiger.
Yeah. Okay.
And I forgot the other husband's name, but yeah, they live in Houston.
Did you say Tyler?
Tiger.
I was going to say his name is Tiger.
I couldn't remember the other husband's name, but I remember Tiger.
I have it written down because I'm a professional podcast host. His name is Carl. His name is Carl.
Carl.
Yes.
The unforgettable
and actually,
Carl.
Kenya and Carl have actually been on several other shows like this because they
I didn't know that.
They're polyamorous and they've done like the show circuit kind of thing. So this was not new for them. How does the show look, sound, and feel?
Yeah, so you get the typical modern day reality TV, and I sort of say that with air quotes, reality TV show. You're going to get a little bit of like interview with the throuple, interviews individually. You're going to get a peek inside of their home. So it looks pretty typical.
I thought it had shades of Will and Jada's Red Table Talk. Remember when they had that episode where they were talking about her? I don't know if she cheated because they have an open relationship.
And they called it entanglements or something.
Yes, that episode, yes. And Will just he tried to be supportive and say the right thing, but his face.
But it was written all over his face.
It was written all over his face, and I just feel like there were a couple scenes in here, and this is reality TV, like you said, right? And I don't really trust reality TV to always show the emotion that was truly given, right? Like they're kind of finding clips that make it seem like he's upset, but it gave off that vibe. Like, are they all the way comfortable with this?
Right. Like if you would turn down the volume and just watch the man's face in a close-up, you're like, you are not comfortable.
But so here's the thing, because what I found interesting is, yes, I may not be comfortable, but I'm willing to endure some discomfort for the happiness of my partner, and maybe I will grow into comfort because Carl and Kenya have been married 26 years.
Long time.
And Tiger has been, quote unquote, married to Kenya for 10 years. So they're in this for a long time.
They're in this to win it.
Carl is comfortable. Like, Carl is full blown comfortable.
I feel like Tiger was a saving grace for Carl. Carl was like, I actually like to be by myself a lot. Right. So you go in there with her.
Right. That was another theme of like this sense that we can be partners in this thing. Like, we don't have to be adversaries. And another thing that kept coming up was women were saying, well, I have a wide range of personality traits, and I match these traits with one person, and I'm looking for someone who matches other traits. So there was very much this sense of brother-husbandness in it that I found compelling.
I did too. Like, I think that especially with Carl and Tiger as your primary example, like these guys also found friendship with each other. Like I feel like they like each other, they get along, they work together in the house.
Right.
Then the couple Kim and I can't remember his name, Dustin, and then her additional person, like her husband Dusty said, I hope that I will gain a friend out of this arrangement.
He did. And I was watching this episode when I was I'm doing renovation on my house. And I was like lifting drywall, and I was like, I need a brother husband right now.
I sure could use a brother husband.
Like you know how when you watch a show at the right time in your life, and it just speaks to you. I was like, man, a brother husband. So if there's anyone out there who is good with drywall.
But Kenya, she put Carl and Tiger to work. She was all right, we're going to put this new rug under the bed. So each of you grab a corner.
She said, lift the bed on 3. 1, 2, 3. And they were like, okay.
And they got that thing done. Yes, they did.
Right. Okay. What themes came up for you in the show?
Well, I mentioned one of them already. I think the theme of male friendship really struck me. I mean, you read a lot, you hear a lot about how it's really hard for men to maintain friendsps and to make new friends. And I mean, while I don't know that I would recommend this to all of our listeners, but this is one way to make a new friend.
This is one way. This is if you're looking for a friend. Right. This could be a pathway. This might be an
arrangement for you
to be a lifelong friend. But yeah, that's a good point, because it is. And I don't know. Do you make friends? Like, how are you making friends getting later in life?
It is hard. Like, I feel like there is one, when the older you get, you have so many responsibilities. I have children that have all their schedules and things to do. Like, I'm running them around to play dates, etc. It is hard just from a time perspective to make a new friend and then figure out, how do I fit this person in a way that builds the friendship, builds comfort, builds trust, all of that. And then I think there's like a general hesitance as well as adults to be vulnerable with each other. So it's like, do I let this person see like the underbelly of it all, like that I have challenges? So it is hard. I mean, I certainly have made friends as an adult, but it is challenging.
Yeah.
What about you?
It sounds like if anyone wants a sister wife, please reach out to Jobina.
No, because now here's the difference though. When I look at like the sister wife show, like on the one hand, you're like, here's an extra set of hands for this laundry. On the other, you're like, but you added 3 children to this mix. So it just kind of, I feel like it cancels itself out. No thanks on the sister
even
wives.
if though, but the sister wife thing, they always made the case that one of the wives was really good with kids and she could just homeschool and nurture and do all the kids, and the other wives were free to live their whole best lives.
I don't know about that. I mean, she might be good with kids, but when it's like 12 kids, I don't know if she wants to do that.
You said you were good with kids, so you didn't put a
Take
limit
these
on
3.
it. So one of the things that came up for me was the role of family, because there were on-screen parents and then there were parents that were discussed. And it just was interesting that there was one of the throuples, her mother was helping her take pictures for a dating site.
Yes.
And the mother clearly said, like, I don't understand this, but she was there in a supporting role. And I just feel like, and there were other throuples where they would say like, well, you know, your mother's not happy with the situation and your mother would not come to a wedding if we had it. And I think we're not going to understand what the lives our children lead. Like the world is changing. It's changing fast. Things are happening. I want to be on the supportive side. I want to get to a place where I can say, I don't understand this, but I'm here to support you. I don't want to be the one who adds stress, right?
Right.
That adds like tension. I don't want to be that for my kids.
Yeah, but I know it's hard for parents though, because you can't help having hopes and dreams for your kids, right?
Right.
You have them, pour so much into them, and you have hopes and dreams for them to have a happy life. Unfortunately, I think many of us define the happy life.
Right.
And then we want them to sort of live into it. I remember having this discussion with my dad when I was a teenager. And he was like, why can't you just accept our values as they are and implement them into your life? And I remember being like, well, I mean, I accept them, but I've modified them. And my dad was so perplexed by that. He just was like, what in the world are you even saying? Like for him, it was just like, I imbue the values upon you, you accept them and live by them forever. And that is just not, I don't think, what we can expect.
Do you get the sense that he did that, or did you? Because it does feel like our parents pushed against the system a lot.
Yeah. I think though that they forget. Like I think that our parents, they then live into this life of adults with kids, and they forget that like my parents, were young adults in the 60s. They were at the March on Washington. My mom tells the story of her mom sending her off to college and telling her, do not get involved in any of those protests. And she's like, little did my mom know, like I was like, we had friends who were at the counter, eating, and then there were those students who were literally putting their legs behind the tires of cars so the people inside would not leave. And my mom was one of those people. And I think
the people inside wouldn't leave. What people inside?
Yeah, so it's like the white patrons inside the store. You've got black kids at the counter demanding to be served. And then there were kids outside that would sit behind the tires in the parking lot, like line up one after the next, so that the people inside could not leave, that they had to witness it, they had to be there. And my mom says she remembers a lady getting in her car and crying and saying, why are you all doing this? She has this vivid memory. And it's like, but then you became this traditional mom who forgot. You did all that stuff against your parents' wishes.
Fast forward of the 20 years of a comfortable marriage, and now you're sending your daughter off to say, don't stray too far. That's interesting.
Don't get it involved.
So what you're saying is, by the time my daughters are into their foolishness, I will be against that.
you will be so traditional. You'll be like, I just wish you girls would go to medical school.
Right. I don't understand why you're doing this. Well, my dad said that too. My dad gave me that same speech about,
yes,
we just accepted what our parents told us. And I'm thinking, no, you didn't.
Did you? Yeah,
right. No, you didn't. So yeah, so that came up for me. More or less, what do you want to see more of or less of in this show?
So I want to see more about the relationship between these men, and if it really does provide an opportunity for friendship, like some of them are looking for. I also want, I think it's just an interesting opportunity to see a different way of thinking about marriage and love. And so I'll be curious to see kind of how it all plays out. And then I think they're going to introduce more couples every episode. So I'd like to see that too.
There's also a conversation happening right now about masculinity and what masculinity is. And I would like to see how masculinity plays a role in this, because we typically think a masculine man doesn't want to share. So I'm not going to share my woman.
Accept this.
You're not going to But now we're seeing, okay, here is a masculine person, right, who is completely comfortable. Right? And they like I said, they weren't all comfortable, but they
Carl
were not
was comfortable though.
right.
He was.
But none of them were uncomfortable all the time, right? They had moments of discomfort, right? So I would like to see masculine men who are fine, who are like, yeah, do your thing. Like go for it. That'd be nice to see. Okay. Marry, kill, or one night stand. And I'm going to put you to Vincent. So just a little bit of background. Vincent, so Kim and Dustin were married, and Vincent was like, he got divorced a couple times. He met Kim, and then Kim wanted yet another man, and that's when Vincent stepped back, and he was like, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with this.
He wasn't for it. So I would say, one, I think Vincent was on some side.
Okay, Vincent.
He was.
Okay.
And he was someone who, I think he really wanted to be married, right? They were interesting because he wasn't living in the home. They were a throuple, but they were a throuple light. I think he was a family person. He wanted to be married. I think. I have to know a little bit more about him, but I think I could.
You see marriage potential. Okay.
I think I could.
Okay. All right.
So in the same vein, we're going to stay right in the same family. I'm going to give you Kim. Is that her name, Kim?
Kim. Yes. Kim had a little look. I was into Kim, and I thought Kim was very reasonable. She didn't. I thought Kenya was a little heavy-handed with her.
She was.
She was a very queen bee-ish.
Yes,
I'm the queen bee, and da. And I hate to say that about a black woman, but that's how that was her thing, right? And it wasn't negative. It's just not for me.
It just was a lot.
And I think Kim had a look in her eye that was kind of sexy. I kind of like Kim. I'm gonna go ahead and marry Kim.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Kim, the pictures of Kim when she was younger with the short hair, I would advise her to go back to that.
just a little hairstyle tip on the way out
for your wedding.
So now the other thing about Kim and Dustin is Dustin said that they met because she was his college professor.
Yeah, so you have that in common.
Yeah, and I'm here to say I have been a professor for 15 years and I have never married a former student. I have never
it on the up
married.
And up.
But it's got a question for you though. How do you feel about workplace romances? Like how do you feel about that?
It's a no.
But you spend so much time at work.
You do.
Doesn't it make sense that you're gonna find someone at work? No,
it doesn't. Because when you all decide that you don't like each other anymore, you're still at all the same meetings. You're still on all the same calls. I just don't see how, unless you truly you're on the path to a long-term relationship, which you're not going to know unless you start dating people at your job. I I don't advise it.
Now, are you a bad breakup person or are you a good breakup person?
I'm usually an amicable breakup person.
Okay, so then if you're amicable, then what's the issue?
It's still awkward. I mean, what if the other person isn't? What if they're like slashing your tires in the parking lot?
Come on. Come on. I mean, if that's the situation.
You're like, you're not safe. Get out of there.
Right.
But yeah, now, are you, like, do you think that's a good idea? I really don't.
I don't, because I'm a good breakup person. First, I am a good chooser. We said that before. I'm a good chooser and I'm a good breakup person. So we just move on. Like, it didn't work for one reason or another. We both understood it. Like, I communicate effectively. Like, it's not like I'm surprised you out of the blue. Like, oh, I was going to propose to you, but now I'm texting you that I'm now with Karen from purchasing.
Like, Tina in procurement is so fine.
Right.
Oh, no. No.
Okay, so
don't do it, friends.
So are you going to continue watching, or was this a one-night stand?
Well, it wasn't a one-night stand, but it was a one-episode stand. I definitely am going to watch it again, I think. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm all in. Like, I am enjoying it. I enjoyed every second of it. The good, the bad, and
really
the
good.
ugly. And it's almost like a guilty pleasure because it's like you say, air quotes,
it's
reality TV. And
it's all cooked. Yeah.
This one seemed a little more cheesy and a little more cooked than the other ones, right? Like a little more spliced.
I read this thing that was like part of the impetus behind this show was about female empowerment, and it was to show that, like, don't be mad at seeking sister wife because women can do it too. But it actually talked about the fact that the network tried very hard to keep quiet the fact that all of these men also have other wives. Like, they're not just, sacrificing for the good of the team. Right. Like, they have other partners. Right, they just try not to demonstrate that because they're trying to make this about female empowerment.
Which to me, it taints everything, right?
It does.
Because sister wives, it's always about them catering to one man, like that, and that's always been like the knock of that lifestyle, is that they don't have the same freedom that he has.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're still in a patriarchy, right? So of course, men are not going to. Well, I shouldn't say they're not going to, but it's going to be more difficult to find.
It'll be very rare. Yes.
Who are willing to not have the same freedom that a woman is exercising. So classic patriarchy. Okay. Anything else about the show?
No, watch it.
I think So thank you all for listening to One Episode Stand. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to the podcast to be alerted when new episodes drop. If you are listening on iTunes, please give us a rating. The theme music is Freedom by Paradox Hip Hop, and we'll be back next time with another series premiere. Jobina, let's end on this. Every story has a moral. What was the moral of this episode?
If you have a lot of heavy lifting to be done in your home, you might want to consider bringing in a brother husband.
If you are renovating a house and you are going to do all the work yourself.
Right. Just think about it. Right?
Because not only are you cheap, but it's also hard to find good labor. Like, if you're in that situation, a brother husband might be. If you call 1-800-BROTHER-HUSBAND, get your brother husband. But for real, text me on the side if you are a brother husband. We can work out the details with my wife later. Like, we'll start the drywall.
Let's start on the house.
We'll start on the house. And then we'll try to integrate the other part. Let's do brother first, and then we'll add the husband part later.
No, absolutely not.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.